Gus yawned for the 9th time that morning. "You're watching me again," he said without looking up from his coffee. He'd switched from his usual latte sachets to espresso. "I'm just worried," I replied. It had been 2 months since we relocated to Montana. I hadn't found a new job. Gus's salary as a litigator covered us both, and between Zoom interviews, I'd unpacked nearly the entire house myself. Gus had hardly been getting enough sleep. He'd always been the one to correct my pronunciation, but now he barely noticed my mistakes. He shrugged. "It's probably insomnia from the move, plus work's been running me ragged. They're my new bosses, and I have to make a good impression. A little less sleep now is no big deal." But it wasn't just the lack of sleep that worried me. It was what was causing it. Mornings when we cuddled until he had to leave, he smelled of sweat and cigarettes. I traced 2 pale crescents on his neck, bite marks, and half remembered dreaming of reaching out to an empty space beside me. One morning I said, "You were gone for a while last night," hoping a casual tone would make him slip up. He looked at me confused and continued getting dressed. I'd been cheated on before, twice actually. So had Gus. It was one of the things we bonded over. He'd never given me a reason to distrust him, until now. There was a hollowness in him, as if he were living a double life. And I had moved across the country for him. All that risk and sacrifice. What if I'd been wrong? That night, determined to confirm my suspicions, I went to bed early while he gamed on his computer. When he finally crawled in and lowered the sheet to kiss my shoulder, I laid perfectly still. No more nights of wondering if I had uprooted my life for someone I couldn't trust. At 3 a.m., just as I was drifting off, Gus stirred. I listened as he slipped out of bed, buttoned his shirt, zipped his pants, and laced his shoes. Each movement slow and mechanical. I gripped my pillow. "I cannot believe you!" I hissed and let the pillow fly. The pillow struck his face. He didn't blink. Eyes glazed. He stared into some dimension I couldn't see. I waved my hand before him. He didn't register it. He shuffled to the front door and rifled through his pockets for his house key. Down the street he stumbled, not on the footpath, but in the middle of the road. Headlights passed on the next street over, and dread knotted in my chest. All it would take is one distracted driver, not expecting a sleepwalking man on the road, and he'd be run down. "Gus, wake up!" I called, but as if sensing my concern, he turned off the road and entered into the tree line. The moon was hidden behind clouds, its light diffused into a dull gray glow. From what I knew, sleepwalkers usually repeated daytime routines, making sandwiches, turning on the TV, sometimes more intimate acts. What routine would lead Gus into the forest at night? My stomach twisted. What if this was something else? Ahead, a soft orange glow emanated from a stone cave. Smoke drifted out. Gus stepped inside. I could hear whispering and a strange sucking sound. I crept forward. Inside, a campfire lit a wider chamber. 8 or 9 people, men and women, fit and fat, stood around it, shoulders slumped, heads down, moaning and swaying. The The circle wasn't sensual, it was formal. In the firelight, I saw crude symbols painted in ash on each chest. They stood motionless, except for a low chant. A shadow shifted. The smoke cleared, revealing a strange man prowling behind the circle. His body was covered in thin, bristly hair, dense with tiny follicles, like a cactus or a spider. When the smoke parted, his mouth area twisted open and a funnel-like orifice extended out and plunged into one of the victim's necks. I gasped too loud and clamped my hand over my mouth. The creature turned towards me. I scrambled back, but knocked a pile of rocks loose. They tumbled down stone steps, echoing through the cave. The thing screeched. From behind, a damp cloth pressed to my mouth. I struggled, head spinning, and then... nothing. When I came to, I lay tangled in my sheets, a burning pain behind my eyelids. I recalled the events of the night and shook Gus awake, but he didn't remember any of it. I wrote everything down in case I soon struggled with the same haze. Now, I no longer feel rested when I awake. And dark bags sit under my eyes. People comment on my yawning and offer coffee. A small red ring of tender flesh has appeared on my neck, and I'm paler than ever. Each morning, I find myself standing at the foot of the bed, hair damp with sweat, a single scratch scoring my wrist. And somehow, there's an ache in my chest that feels like belonging. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. A quick shout out to my patrons, Old Penguin, Rinku Star, Melissa Perez, Icy Narrates, Seven Cities Journalist, Cupcake Hips, Eric Cifuentes, Alonso, Austin My Love, Ellie Hutmeyer, Jesse Hartley, Lawrence Wallen, Mr. Sankofa, and William Hartley. I always try to link a different charity in the description, so go ahead and check that out. I'm also going to start having more things on my Patreon soon, so keep your eyes peeled. And as always, I'd love to know how I can be praying for you, so go ahead and drop a comment and let me know how I can do that. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next video.